what if it all worked out? Like legit, what if I tried and I put my energy and effort into this thing that I want to do, put my effort into making weekly videos of sharing out loud the journey of my life, where I'm going, where I've been, what's happening at present with the world, with people. What if it all worked out? Like, what if it really worked out in a way that I somehow feel like it could? So, for those who don't know me, I'm Drey. I work at Harvard University right now, where I just graduated with my doctorate in educational leadership. I'm in a postdoc fellowship right now, where I have an opportunity to do a lot of meaningful work on things that matter to me. And something that I've been thinking about recently in this journey that I'm on is about how the last 5 years of my life have unfolded. For a little bit of context, for those who don't know me, don't know my story, haven't been following along either here on the channel or on social media, I was a high school principal. Before that, I was a high school math teacher. I joined Teach for America right out of undergrad and eventually worked my way up to becoming a principal. And COVID hit. That experience, along with just years of working in schools, really exposed me to how much I was burnt out as a person, how much I needed some type of rest, rejuvenation. And it's crazy to say because at the time I was only 30 years old. I'm now 35, a few months away from my 36th birthday. But it's kind of crazy to think that before I was 30 years old, I was burnt out. And some people might think that that's silly or too young to feel burnt out. But I think it also goes hand in hand with kind of the life that young people in our society live now. And not saying that it wasn't like that back in the day, but I think the intersection between how life is now, the rise in technology, the kind of over-indexing that we do for young people on being prepared for college, on having robust resumes, extracurriculars before you even turn 18, is creating a lower threshold in terms of age by which people feel burnt out. So I was feeling burnt out. I left that role, started my own organization, company, and then got a job as a vice president, a senior executive at a national nonprofit. Also applied to Harvard, got in and matriculated and was at Harvard. But I think one of the other things that has been very apparent for the last about 5 years now is that I've had this internal desire and yearning to create, and specifically to create content. And seeing the rise of like the content creator economy and people just sharing their lives on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, any social media platform, streaming has really, it's spoken to me over the last 5 years. And I've had fits, starts and stops. There's some times where I feel very like I'm going to go do this thing and I'm going to make it happen. I don't care what anyone says, but like, F it. I'm just gonna do it. And then there are days and times where I'm like, I want to delete all my social media. I don't want to be on the internet. I don't want to be online. I just want to exist in person. I'm overwhelmed. And I think the thing that I have really sat down with myself in the last few days to really source is, what if it all worked out? Like legit, what if I tried and I put my energy and effort into this thing that I want to do? If I put my effort into making weekly videos of sharing out loud the journey of my life, where I'm going, where I've been, what's happening at present, with the world, with people, what if it all worked out? Like, what if it really worked out in a way that I somehow feel like it could? As I sat with those thoughts, I've realized that to me, that's probably the biggest fear that keeps me from doing the thing, is not like what could go wrong, but really what could go right. Like, how could this go right? And how could it be something that transforms my life, transforms the life of the people around me? What could it mean for the impact that I hope to and seek to have on the world? Reminds me of that quote that like, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. And I think for me, I've always had this feeling within me that I feel called to do things that serve a big purpose in the world. I feel called to service. I feel called to impact. I feel called to change systems for the betterment of others. I feel called to love and justice and peace and liberation and joy and vitality. And I'm not serving anybody, certainly not myself or my family or my loved ones or my mentors, the people who poured into me, my professors, my bosses, my colleagues, by playing small. So this past weekend was Easter weekend. I had the opportunity to travel to Buffalo for a couple of nights to spend time with Bria, my partner, her loved ones. It was just a beautiful experience. First, it was beautiful because I got to explore different things that I had never explored in my time going to Buffalo. I've been to Buffalo a few times with Bria. She was born there. And it's been cool to just explore a different part of the country that I've never been to. And upstate New York is very different than New York City, which is what people mostly associate with New York. Buffalo has its own unique history, and certainly our experience in Buffalo and Bria's story in Buffalo is very much intertwined with a lot of the maybe things that people know about Buffalo. So going to Buffalo this past weekend for Easter was a great opportunity, one, to like learn more about the city of Buffalo. We had the chance to go to a place called Broadway Market, which is kind of in the city of Buffalo. And it's a really interesting place, particularly around Easter time, where a lot of different people from the community, particularly those who are the descendants or the children, grandchildren, families of Polish Americans. Bria, half of her family is Polish American. Families migrated from Poland a few generations back. And so it was a really cool time to see just different interesting things that happen in the Polish community in Buffalo around Easter. Going to the Broadway Market was really cool to like experience all the cool local artisan shops, different things that people are selling, different businesses that people are trying to cultivate, while also creating this sense of belonging and community for people from a particular background. And it wasn't just folks who identified as Polish or Polish American there. It was like folks from all different walks of life and ethnicities and races and backgrounds and cultures who are engaging in part of this. One thing I didn't know, for example, is that there's this day called Dingus Day that happens the day after Easter, where the women grab these things called pussy willows, which is like a plant. It's like I guess a flower or a tree. I don't know. It's a plant, and they try to hit the young men, the boys, with it, and then the men and boys squirt the women and girls with water guns or squirt guns. It's a really interesting history to explore and learn from and be a part of. Bria and I had the opportunity to eat some food. She got a pierogi, which is like this kind of like little potato pouch kind of thing, kind of like an empanada, but like I guess, an Eastern European kind of version. I got a Polish sausage, which was fantastic, phenomenal. Sauerkraut, amazing, chef's kiss. And yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool. After we left there, we traveled into kind of inner city Buffalo, where Bria's other side of her family, her father's side of the family, is from, and where her father grew up, and unfortunately also lost his life. A little bit of background. I feel kind of weird telling this story, and we'll see if this actually makes it in. It's not my story to tell, but maybe it'll give context. Bria's father was shot and killed. He was murdered 16 years ago when Bria was 16. And he was actually shot and killed in a plaza that's right next to the Tops in Buffalo, which is now known for one of the deadliest mass shootings, and specifically targeting of Black people by a neo-Nazi, a white supremacist, who literally Googled blackest grocery store, blackest Tops in the area, and drove miles, hundreds of miles, state lines, just to come to this Tops to shoot and kill Black people, and did that 2022, May of 2022. There's also this beautiful mural that exists outside of the Tops that Bria knows the person who commissioned that and worked with artists. I mean, this neighborhood is a big part of her life because her father, was somebody who kind of was in the neighborhood and was well known and was well respected, and unfortunately lost his life. So we traveled over there and we bought some flowers. And one of the things that Bria likes to do, the traditions that she likes to do, is put a flower on this pole that has all these representations of her father and what he meant to the people in his community and the people who loved him and cherished him and respected him. And so it was just a beautiful opportunity for us to do that and then go see her granny, and I got to meet her aunt, and it was just beautiful. And all of that experience, on top of like going back for Easter and going on a long run, because you may not know that I'm training for a marathon right now. Part of my marathon training has me doing these long runs that I'm really engaged in. But after all of that, I really have taken time to reflect again, like, what if it all goes right? And what if I just for 1 year, focus on the things that I want to do and what I want to exist out into the world? Not what job am I going to have? What's my title going to be? What activities are we going to lead? What programs am I going to design? What funders am I going to, get to fund this work? What if I just focused on sharing my life and sharing what's going on for me, and leaving the rest up to God, Allah, the universe, the Most High, the whatever divine inspiration source you believe in? I'm gonna do it. We're gonna do it together, me and Bria. Like, we're gonna do it, and I'm excited. And this is just the first of many, many, many opportunities to share what I'm thinking and what's going on, and to storytell and create. I think for a while I was really self-conscious because I put a couple of videos out on my channel at the beginning of my journey of my doctorate and was like, I'm going to do this weekly. And that lasted like 2 videos, I think. I did 2 videos, yeah. And then there's a documentary on this channel, and that was it. And so I struggled to like really jump back in because I felt self-conscious about not delivering on something that I said I was going to do. But they always say that the best time to plant a tree was yesterday, and the second best time to plant a tree is today. So here's me planting this tree to see wherever this takes me, and all these beautiful moments that are going to come up in the next couple of years and throughout my lifetime. And as the decades go past and we get an opportunity to see and reflect and look back on where we've been, this is something that I'm going to be proud of. I'm going to be proud that I took the time to do this and to try and to see if it all works out.